Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review movies and today's film is Garfield. It's an animated adventure film featuring everyone's favorite fat orange tabby cat. Garfield is forced to team up with his absentee father Vic and Odie in order to pull off a risky heist. Paul A. Kaplan, Mark Torgove, and David Reynolds wrote the story, and Mark Dindal directed the film, which stars Chris Pratt as Garfield, Samuel L. Jackson as Vic, and Hannah Waddingham as the villain Jinx. To begin, this film does a lot well. Nothing's perfect, but every aspect of the film is well produced and competently done. The story is interesting, filled with great emotions, and hilarious. It manages to capture the lazy nature of Garfield while sending him on a heartfelt adventure with his father and his best friend. They make new friends, new enemies, and learn a bunch of fun new things. The story is straightforward, does emotion and humor well, and is fairly consistent across the board. It even manages to develop Garfield's character in a new way that still fits with his overall personality and lore. Vic is a truly great addition to the series, and the relationship between him and Garfield is quite sweet. Their journey is also highly exciting. There's action every 10 minutes or so and non-stop joke deliveries. Even the food comes fairly often and looks delicious. The cast does a great job with their roles, too. You have Chris Pratt playing the lazy cat, Sam Jackson as an easygoing thief, and Ving Rhames shows up to play a bull version of his character from Mission Impossible. There's lots of great comedic timing coming from the voice actors and a few really impressive accent changes. Across the board, everyone does well. The visual journey is clean, easy to follow, and they take every chance they get to do something cool. There are visual gags out the wazoo, and there's a couple of heist scenes that are really fun. There's a couple of battles between the cats, and there's even a few grand emotional moments. The journey is colorful, wacky, and great for kids. Each character has their own unique design, and the animation work captures their emotions and personalities in detail. For standout moments, you have the big action scenes that occur throughout the heist. Moments where they're dodging endless knives or running and jumping through traps. They escape from cages, get into a fight on top of a train, and even go skydiving for a bit. It's filled with fun, visual moments that you and your kids will love. There's also a lot of subtle jokes in the background that you'll get to enjoy on a second watch. As for the soundtrack, they use a mixture of original songs and scored orchestral tracks to follow the emotional journey, build out the atmosphere, emphasize jokes, and help develop the characters. The music they use is highly effective when it comes to amplifying the emotions, and while it's not the most memorable soundtrack, it does have quite a few standout moments. They even gave each of the characters their own theme song, which is a lot of fun, and made the characters stand out more. So to recap, the story is interesting, full of energy, and consistent. The voice actors do a solid job across the board, delivering funny material with great timing and lots of personality and emotion added into their voices. The visual journey is fun and exciting. It has heist moments, visual gags, and even a few tearjerker scenes. The soundtrack does everything you want it to and manages to stand out despite not being overly memorable. My only real complaints about the film were about the depth of the storytelling, the lack of originality, and the slow start. For example, the film opens with a recap of Garfield's life and it takes just a little bit too long to get going. It's inundated with normal Garfield-style humor, which is fun, but they keep going for almost 5 minutes and it doesn't add anything beyond that to the film. After that, they spend a lot of time explaining everything and setting everything up before they finally get into the action. It takes almost 30 minutes before you start really getting invested, which can be a long time for some people. They also didn't give the voice actors the chance to really shine. There's a couple of big moments between characters that are entirely visual, and they don't need to be. They could easily have written a few more pieces of dialogue and let Pratt and Jackson play out that father-son relationship. They had some great moments that went really well, and it just made you want more. The film is also not trying anything overly new. It's a safe kids film that does the expected jokes in a story that's a little bit cliché. It works as a whole, but if you've seen one of these films, you've basically seen them all in terms of how it feels and plays out. Personally, I took my nephew to see it and we had a lot of fun. I always liked Garfield and Odie, and the movie gave me a lot of time with them that I enjoyed. The cast did a good job of their roles, but I would have liked to see them given more opportunity. The visuals and soundtrack were awesome, and there's moments that will play in my head for at least a few weeks to come. Like when Garfield eats spicy sauce and spits dragon's breath on somebody. Good times. As for a rating, I'd give this film an 8 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye-bye.